Hey everyone, this is Brian with Unearned Inc. again. There's been a lot of talk lately about the tech layoffs, and I wanted to take some time. I've been waiting a little bit before doing this video, but the number of companies that are coming out daily on a weekly basis with just the number of layoffs is pretty staggering. And I wanted to go through just a couple examples of what some of these layoffs are. And this is just a perfect example of why, setting up passive income, developing a system where you are financially free, you are financially stable, maybe not coming, right out of college, but certainly by the time you get in your mid 30s, 40s, and certainly 50s, you really have to be in a position where if you suffer a layoff and you happen to still be working, you can go 12 months at a minimum, 18 months before you're having to find another job. So this is pretty heart-wrenching to see this many layoffs. I know several people in a lot of these companies are very familiar, and we'll just go through some of the stories that have been coming out across all the news outlets that you see here. So let's start with NPR. They've come out with some pretty staggering numbers here. Nearly 25,000 tech workers were laid off in the first few weeks of 2024. Why is that? You go through and look at this first one that I've highlighted. Last year was, by all accounts, a bloodbath for the tech industry, with more than 260,000 jobs vanishing. So for the year 2023, they're saying 260,000 jobs were vanished or people were let go. So this is the type of thing where, again, if you don't have a second, third, fourth stream of income coming in, it becomes very difficult really quickly to earn a living and to stay in your house, to pay your car note. If you have kids in college, all of those things just tend to compound when these things turn. And it's something that's been going on since the beginning of time, right? We're here now in 2024. This happens every few years where you see these large amounts of layoffs, and you just don't want to be on the end of that one. The worst 12 months for Silicon Valley since the dot-com crash of the early 2000s. But again, there's been a lot of people that have been laid off between 2000 and 2024. This happens every year and will continue to happen every year. And this is just, again, case in point of why having passive income, having multiple streams of income are so important. Look at this next piece here. In the first 4 weeks of this year, nearly 100 tech companies, including Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, TikTok, and Salesforce, have collectively let go of 25,000 employees. Just in this, we're coming up here, only one more day left in January for 2024, and we're already at 25,000 employees. And this is really just on the tech side. I have a couple of articles in here where it touches on some of the other industries. So this is not limited to the tech industry. This is across the board. I think a lot of people sometimes, it's hard to feel sorry for the tech employees where it's like, oh, well, the person was making 150,000 or 200,000, or some developers even making 300,000. It's still, if you're living in a high cost of living area, you may have kids, that you're contending with. Daycare, there was an article the other day, just the amount of money people are spending on daycare now, it's almost on the same order of college tuition for some large state university. So imagine the amount of money that you're going to need to save up yearly to send your kid to college. That's the same amount of money now that you're paying for in daycare in certain cities like Seattle and other places. If you haven't heard of this website called Layoffs.fyi, definitely check it out. It's pretty cool. They have like a series of tables and things that you can go scan and sort and look at all the tech companies and how many people are getting laid off by each. So something to go look at if you've never heard of the website. Pretty interesting stuff there. Then we come over to Yahoo Finance. Same thing. Media layoffs, Google, Paramount, Disney. Number of things here. YouTube. Last week, the company cut 100 YouTube employees from its creator management and operations division. Imagine the amount of content and how successful YouTube has been. Yes, it takes a lot of money to run a site with millions of videos, but at the same time, as well as they are doing, they're still, cutting employees from their divisions. Alphabet slashed thousands of jobs across engineering, hardware, and advertising teams in an effort to reduce headcount. Ironically, you look at Netflix, Amazon just recently announced that they're going to start showing ads on their Amazon Prime Video. So you can't avoid advertising. Everywhere you go, almost everything is supported by advertising, yet they're still letting advertising people go from their workforce. Engineering, hardware, these are people that went to top colleges, right? If you're working for Google, you've went to the Stanfords, you've went to the Harvards, you're going to top colleges and you're making quite a good money, but now you're out looking for another job with all the other top, people that graduated in the last 5 to 10 years. The CEO, more in an internal memo, more layoffs were likely needed across the entire company in 2024 in order for the company to reach its goals. Universal Music Group, UMG, one of the industry's most prominent record labels, plans to lay off hundreds of employees later this quarter. Pixar, Disney's animation unit, will reportedly lay off as much as 20% of its 1,300 employees. Everyone loves the Pixar animation films. Again, no industry is immune to what's happening. Business Insider, I use them every now and then. They have some good articles and research that they tend to put out periodically. They will cut about 8% of their staff. Los Angeles Times is still hanging in there. Definitely one of the papers that are widely read in the country, just because of the population in the California area. They announced sweeping layoffs on Tuesday, eliminated jobs of at least 115 staff members, or roughly 20% of its newsroom. Imagine working in the newsroom. 10% is a lot. When you see 20%, that's 1 in 5 people that in your work environment that are being let go. That's a lot of people. Sports Illustrated, I have another article here. I think it's from the New York Times. I'll jump over that tab. Again, thrown into chaos with mass layoffs. Been a big fan and reader of Sports Illustrated. I don't read it as much anymore, but if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you definitely remember the magazines and kind of going into Walgreens and some of the other stores where you can kind of flip through all the magazines that they had on the rack. Sports Illustrated, the venerable Bible of sports journalism, has been in decline for years as the internet annihilated print magazines and cost-cutting turned the weekly publication into a monthly and whittled its staff. I didn't even know they were only at a monthly now. The company that publishes Sports Illustrated said in an email to employees that it was laying off many of them, leaving in doubt what lies ahead for the publication. So again, this just goes on and on across different industries. This last one here, American Airlines, airline industry, to lay off 656 employees to provide elevated customer service. The layoffs will eliminate 8.2% of its 8,000 customer service related positions. If anyone's flown in the last year or two, customer service can be pretty poor at almost all the airlines, right? It's just one of those industries. It's like the cable TV, satellite dish industry, where there's just always problems in these industries. You think they would need as many customer service people as they can afford. For a total of 656 employees who are not represented by a union, according to Bloomberg. The impacted 335 who work in Phoenix, and then another 321 in Dallas-Fort Worth. American Airlines is based out of Dallas, so again, they're hitting kind of near their headquarters. The workers currently assist with passengers with lost luggage and the AA Advantage loyalty program service groups. So again, airlines, publishers, tech, it's pretty much just across the board that you see with a lot of these. Another thing I found that's pretty interesting, the New York Times came out with this article about, there's so many people doing layoffs, and now with, the social media generation, people are actually videotaping and recording their layoff process, which obviously, you didn't have this 20 years ago, but this is pretty interesting. In a 5-minute TikTok video this month, Ms. Ade Banju, a 30-year-old Los Angeles marketing professional, was shown sitting quietly at her desk and staring at her computer, a pained look on her face as she nodded that she was ready to start. She was being laid off by a tech giant. The video racked up 500,000 views and thousands of comments within hours. Definitely not something I plan on doing and recording, but this is becoming pretty common, where especially because of Zoom and the remote workforce, people are recording the whole process as it goes down in real time. This trend is part of a movement driven by Gen Z and millennials to share every aspect of their lives. The boundary between the personal and professional has been broken. A Harvard economist who studies layoffs. There's actually a video here, Joni Ray. I don't know what the company is. Let's see if this even plays.
I'm waiting for them to let me into the meeting room. I'm pretty sure I'm getting laid off today. There are 3 other people that are supposed to be on the call with me and the CMO.
Everyone knows, we've been dealing with some pretty drastic changes in the business. As most of you saw, and I'm sure heard yesterday, we had to, shut down the teleservices division of the business, which was over, 800 people impacted by that change. And so that's a really drastic shift in the business. And unfortunately, it requires us to do the same from the corporate perspective. I want to make sure you all understand that this is, a widespread corporate action that's taking place today. Unfortunately, today will be your last day with the organization. Due to the impact that this...
So I won't play the rest of it, but again, that's what it looks like for folks that are, recording some of the layoffs, and that one looked like it was one where it was kind of more of an announcement where they gathered people in a room and not a one-to-one with a manager and employee. But it's going across the board. Like I said, I think the criticality of being able to generate additional streams, to generate, whether it's through, even if you own a single family rental house, or you have, several $1,000s in dividend stocks where you can start seeing a stream. And it starts out as, I'm only making $5 a month, $10 a month. Eventually you get to 100. Eventually you get to 200. You have to take it in steps to the point where you say, wow, I'm getting enough in passive income, I can pay my cell phone bill. I'm getting enough in passive income, now I can actually pay a car note. And it's a slow and long process, but it's a necessary process, just because no one is safe at this point. No one's coming to save you. And this is why it's just so critical to think about passive income as a long-term strategy for your career. One last thing I wanted to show, this just came out this morning. This is very fresh, hot off the press here. In terms of, no one wants to say we ever were in a recession. No one's going to claim it. But yet you see there's tons of people that are out of work, and those tons of people are going to start, pulling back on their shopping habits. UPS, which, does a lot of deliveries for Amazon, they guided lower this morning. Their shares tumbled 7%. UPS guided for full year revenue, so that's full year for 2024, between $92 billion and $94. The consensus was 95. So UPS is already giving a heads up here on January 30th that, the rest of the year is going to look a little bit tight. Whirlpool, the connection here, a lot of people, sometimes don't make this connection, but Whirlpool really follows the housing industry, right? So as you build new home construction, new houses, all those new homes need new appliances. They need the refrigerators and the washer dryer and all those things. So they also fell 4% in pre-market because the company issued weak 2024 guidance. So again, we're seeing, parts of the economy show a few cracks. And I think this is just going to be something that continues through the rest of the year as more people get laid off, as things become a little bit tighter. So again, I really implore people, think about your passive income generation strategy. Start it as soon as possible. Go to unearnedinc.com, sign up, so you can get, alerts on what's happening out in the world. What are some of the new ways that you can generate income? What are some of the new companies that you may want to invest in long term to generate passive income? These are some of the things that we talk about on unearnedinc.com. So check it out, like this video, subscribe to this channel so that you can get the latest things that we're talking about. And that's it for me. Talk to you later.